morning, everybody. This wonderful day in Berlin and this excellent location. You all have heard about the big decision the German government has been made recently, the energy turnaround on a political level. The key question which I would like to raise today is, can that turn into a real business strategy for the players in the energy sector? So what is a holistic business strategy for the energy turnaround? And honestly, I give you the answer immediately, yes, there's a business strategy for this, and this is based on the transformation by reallocation of resources. So to start with, we heard just a minute ago, one major column in the energy, new energy concept is based on renewables, substitution of nuclear fossil energy by renewables. That is one big direction. The other one is based on energy efficiency. So as you see in this chart, energy consumption is projected to be much, much lower in the coming years. And that means that we will run into a completely new paradigm. The paradigm is that the former business model, which was based on megawatt growth, you earn more, you more electricity you sell, will not work anymore. The total volume sales of energy will be reduced, and this is creating, of course, a completely new challenge to the industry, to the energy suppliers. What can they do to make that a business anyhow? So they have to reinvent themselves. So we will see a very fundamental paradigm change in the energy sector. And overall, we can say that there will be much more intelligence in the system to manage the rising complexity. The present paradigm, or let's say the former paradigm, was very much we had a one-way energy flow, no communication, central production, no storage, few renewable energy. The customer is a consumer, no smart grid, no meters, limited variety of business models. So it was one way, inefficient and polluting. The new paradigm will look very different. It will be about bidirectional information flow and communication flow. Storage, decentralized production, much more renewable energy. The customer will become a prosumer. We will see electric cars and we will see more storage. And energy services will be a new business opportunity. So the new paradigm will be more smart, more efficient, and more green. So to start with, what shall players in the energy sector do? First of all, they need to have a clear strategic direction and agenda. And as said, a cornerstone in this is certainly energy, climate change, all the things, but it is more, and we have to address this. There are a couple of other big changes which influence the best setup for the players, which is urbanization, demography, new technologies, social value changes. So the market will change, the customer behavior will change, and this all has to be considered by the energy companies if they provide best solutions. So what we want to say, if we have this strategic direction, it needs to be managed through a better allocation of different resources. And it is really required to have an integrated master plan which synchronizes the allocation of resources, which are capacities, capital, human resources, and of course energy, material resources. Let's go through this in a little bit more detail, starting with energy, material resources. So efficiency, energy efficiency has to become a business. We will talk about virtual power plants, including households, optimization of portfolio, plenty of things. And indeed, the good news is that there are already companies out there who show that it is possible to create a business out of this. So really making more with less. This is a new paradigm, and obviously it works. This is one example from the United States. But we can assume that this is becoming much more a general new business model for energy utilities. Utilities may create more value if they define their role as allocation manager, which manage the much more complex patterns of energy supply and demand. So we will have a much more complex supply side with volatile generation based on renewables, some other sources, and the demand side will be more complex as well. And the intelligence and the value created by the utility is to bring this together in the most economical way. So now have a look on capital. So capital very often is a rare source, and it has to be decided where to allocate the capital in the most efficient way. In particular, if we look on new projects in the renewable sector. The other dimension is indeed that cash flow optimization should not be neglected, because the running business has to create the cash flow to finance the new ones. And there, once again, are very compelling examples that this can be turned into profits and to economic success. Iberdrola mentioned here, and on this chart you see, and this is a little bit a surprise for many people, that even today renewable contribute much over proportional to the economic profit of large energy utility companies. In the past, it was always discussed as this would be a big burden, but the reality shows it contributes significantly to the profits already today. And consequently, many of the energy companies allocate these days plenty of their CAPEX to the renewable energy sector. So now let's spend a few words about capacity, making best use of all the capacity which you have. This is associated with operational excellence, supply chain management, workforce management, making best use of assets, all these kind of things. And once again, there are impressive examples how energy utility companies succeeded to make that happen. Stadtwerke München has an EBIT margin of 22%. They do a lot of these things excellently, and so it is possible with best allocation of capacities to achieve sound profits. But on the one hand, it is also the way to create new opportunities. And this is illustrating a little bit the way forward. On the one hand, you see on the left side that the electricity consumption per consumer will be decreasing over the time. At the same time, the challenge is it possible to increase the revenue, the margin per customer? And you see there are also examples that this is really possible. Centrica, this is a brand of British Gas, did this for some time now, and it goes beyond the direct supply of energy alone. Much more other businesses which are credible for energy companies might be added. So now, the last dimension of this resource allocation is about human resources, and truly all these nice plans can only be happen if indeed the right skills, resources are available. And this is not self-evident, because new qualifications will be required by the energy utility companies. For example, IT competence to manage and to develop smart grid solutions, smart meters. Or if you think about offshore wind, you have to have marine engineers available, and not those who used to run a fossil power plant. So this is certainly a very important thing. And of course, there are proven approaches how to transform the human capital of an energy utility company to the new requirements. It is about new job description, new requirements. It is about evaluating the as-is competence portfolio and finding out what is the gap and what needs to be done about it. And there are other proven tools with management audits, how to develop an existing organization. But of course, and as mentioned here, will be necessary to have tailor-made supplementation of the existing HR portfolio, because some competences are not yet really present in energy utility companies. So let's summarize. We really need to have an integrated, holistic business strategy for the energy turnaround. And from our point of view, this all has to be associated to a business strategy, which is focusing on sustainable profitability, so incorporating all these factors which I mentioned before, and which is about the reallocation, the optimized allocation of the key resources in the company: human resources, capital resources, capacity resources, and energy material resources. So this is the reason why we organized our company exactly along these lines. So these are our four major business lines, and as you see, we do plenty of these things together with powerful partners because we need to have international reach, because we need to have specialist expertise. And finally, we should not only give good advice to energy utility companies how to transform themselves. This is something which is relevant for a service company as well. So beyond management consulting, that is our strong view, we need to add HR competence, executive search to make that happen. A service company should also be able to manage transactions in the sector, but it has to take an entrepreneurial role as well for industrial project development, not just giving advice, being part of it. That's the new paradigm for a service company. So finally, thank you for your attention. We would be pleased to discuss with you. You see three pictures there. These gentlemen are in the audience, and my brother Joerg Fabri is a specialist for executive search, HR topics. My companion Anton and myself are more specialists for energy-related topics. Thank you very much.
Great. Do you have a question for Joerg Fabri in the audience? Please raise your hand and wait for the microphone runner. Christian, again.
Sorry, so many questions.
That's good.
I think you pointed out a very nice perspective how the market will be in the future. Related to the current market makers, do you see any changes also coming up there, that we see new market makers in this future perspective?
Yeah. Indeed, we can see that, first of all of the large established players have understood that the world will be very different, and we will hear much more contributions today from RWE, E.ON, and we see that indeed the established ones have understood this and are working very hard on this transformation, are bringing up completely new ideas. And on the other hand, indeed, we see plenty of startups. We see focused companies bringing up new ideas. So what I really see that this challenge created by the government decision is really exploiting a lot of creativity also in the venture capital scene with startups. And we see both established companies transforming and plenty of newcomers going to the market, both.
Okay, thank you very much, Joerg.